Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with a review of a disc that you mentioned. I was talking about Vaughan Williams' Serenade to Music, and one of you talked about it, especially its various versions. You know, there's the choral version, and there's the original version for 16 soloists, and then there's the choral plus quartet version of soloists, and then there's the orchestra alone version. And one of you mentioned this recording. This is Andrew Manze with the Royal Liverpool Philharmonic on the Onyx label. And I have it, and I thought I should talk about it because, first of all, if you want the orchestra alone version of the Serenade to Music, and it is gorgeous, this is a great way to get it. This is also a great way to get all of, like, what you might call the beautiful Vaughan Williams. It's all the most folk-like, modal, gorgeous, just pastoral, serene, transcendental. I mean, it's just incredible. Let me just tell you what's on here. They're very good performances. It's really very, very fine. Very fine. First, there is the Serenade to Music. Then you get the 5 variants of Dives and Lazarus for strings and harp. And then you get the Lark Annoying. That's the Lark Ascending. I know. You know what it is. It's for solo violin. Oh, I just want to strangle that disgusting little creature. I mean, it's a very pretty piece. Don't get me wrong. It's very, very pretty. Apparently in England it's played every 5 minutes on classic FM, and it's the most popular piece of classical music in existence. It figures. It's kind of like the modern equivalent of the Pachelbel canon. Very, very pretty, and you don't have to pay any attention to it whatsoever. If you do pay attention to it, it actually has a good bit of content. I think it goes on about, well, let's see. This is 14 minutes and 23 seconds. I think it probably goes on about 14 minutes and 21 seconds longer than it needs to. But it is lovely. It's wholly attractive. It really is. I just am sick of it. That's me. I just have heard it so many times that if I never hear it again, I will be perfectly happy because I have it memorized. If I want it, I can just rerun it in my brain. Never mind, I'm not going to do it. The point is, it's a very beautiful performance. And the lark in question is James Ennis, who is one hell of a lark. He's a terrific larkist, unquestionably. So after the Lark Ascending, you get the Fantasia on Greensleeves, which was used in the opera Sir John in Love, and then, extracted. And you get the English Folk Song Suite. Oh, I love the English Folk Song Suite. It was originally a band piece. It was orchestrated by Gordon Jacob for a regular symphony orchestra. I've played it 10 million, billion, trillion, zillion times. Oh, gosh, it's fun. And I don't get tired of that. Maybe it's because, folk tunes, what makes them folk tunes is that they never get tiresome. They're just there. They're like Stonehenge. They're objects, and they're phenomenal, and they just like sit there, and the universe and like the monolith in 2001 Space Odyssey. It's just there. So that's marvelous. And then finally, the Fantasia on a theme of Thomas Tallis, Vaughan Williams' most magnificent work for string orchestra, and one of the most magnificent anythings for string orchestra. Now, these are very, very fine performances by Andrew Manze, of latter day, the period instrument violinist guy who decided he wanted to, play some real music. Just kidding. Couldn't resist that one, could I? Not at all. He really has become a very solid conductor. He knows what he's doing. I haven't liked all of his performances. I mean, he's done Vaughan Williams' cycle that's had its hits and misses, and he did a Brahms cycle, which I think he should have waited a decade to attempt, and, but it's not bad. He's a very, very fine musician. Really a first-class musician. He was a first-class violinist. One of the few period instrument violinists who I really enjoyed listening to because he had a great musical sensibility. And that's obvious in these performances. They're fresh, they're lively, they're unaffected, and I was really happy in the Tallis Fantasia. It's a very measured performance. It's 16 minutes long. It's about average. I mean, usually it runs between 14 and 16 minutes, somewhere in there, but this is a little bit on the slow side. But he really does get the energy going toward that big central climax. In fact, so much so that I was afraid when he got there he was going to sort of overshoot the target, but he doesn't. He doesn't. It's a very intense and passionate moment, and he lets it happen, and it's very, very nice. And so I enjoy this disc very well, very, very much. It's beautifully recorded, and if you're looking for a collection of Vaughan Williams of shorter works, all in that wonderful style that I just told you about, I don't have to repeat it. This is a very, very good option, and I recommend it accordingly. So there you go. It's just a great collection of stuff. I mean, there's nothing here you're not going to want to hear. And it starts with the Serenade to Music, and it ends with the Tallis Fantasia, and it doesn't get more gorgeous than that, not by anybody, anywhere. So keep on listening, friends. Thanks for joining me. Take care.